Haitian Vodou. The Haitian version of voodoo evolved from African slaves who were used throughout the country's coffee and sugar plantations. Before the Haitian Revolution of 1804, the country was a wealthy French colony known as Saint-Domingue, producing almost half of Europe's sugar and coffee imports. The predominantly West African slaves mixed their traditional African religions with the colonial religion of Catholicism, the result of which evolved into Haitian Vodou. The word voodoo means spirit, and those who practice the belief are known as voodooists, servants of the spirit. It is a monotheistic religion, having a supreme creator god called Bondi at its head, which is similar to the Almighty God of the Catholics. Bondi, being the highest principle in the universe, is so far beyond human comprehension that it is believed his will is implemented here on earth through subservient spirits known as Iwa or Iowa. Bondi is also referred to as the good god. However, the voodooists do not have an evil counterpart like the devil, which many other monotheistic religions feature. The word Bondi appears to have originated from the French colonialist term bon Dieu, meaning good God. However, after the Haitian Revolution and overthrow of the French colonial government, slavery was abolished and the Catholic Church left, not to return to the country for several decades. Consequently, with limited outside influence, a unique form of religion grew from within the country itself. During religious ceremonies, it is the aim of the voodooists to try and interact with the Iwa, spirits which they believe act as an intermediary between their physical world and the Bondi. Regular meetings usually take place in small temples known as amphos, where they bang drums, sing and dance in an attempt to encourage the spirits to possess one of their members. When this takes place, they try to communicate with that spirit in their quest for wisdom and guidance. Offerings of fruit and animal sacrifices are given to the Iwa and the spirits of the recently deceased. Once contact through possession is made, various forms of divination are used to decipher messages coming from the spirits. These come with a variety of charms, amulets, and healing remedies performed within the rituals. Throughout the 20th century, Haitians began to emigrate, taking their religion with them, and once the Catholic Church returned, many Haitians embraced Catholicism, while still practicing their particular brand of voodoo, seeing no issue merging the two doctrines together. Today, many Haitian voodooists regard themselves as predominantly Catholic first, with the famous voodoo priest and painter André Pierre once stating, "To be a good practitioner of voodoo, one must first be a good Catholic." As a result of sensationalism in movies, media, and literature, the practice of voodoo is largely misunderstood by most people, some even seeing it as sinister, even demonic. The fundamental ideology behind voodoo suggests that everything is spirit and that we humans who are essentially spirit, inhabit this visible physical world, while the unseen world is populated by the Iwa. All these spirits are believed to live in a mythical place called Ginen, a kind of cosmic Africa. Furthermore, the Iwa communicate through dreams as well as possession, interacting primarily through the subconscious. The primary goal of the voodooist is to sevi Iwa, to serve the spirits, by offering prayers and devotional rituals in return for health, protection and favours. During rituals, participants hope to be selected for spiritual possession, where they often enter a trance-like state as the Iwa engages with them. Each Iwa is viewed as having its own unique personality and qualities, associated with specific colours, days of the week, objects and even planets. There are over 1,000 different Iwa with varying degrees of importance, together with some voodoo priests who ultimately become Iwa after their death. They are thought to be temperamental and easily offended when offered food or items they do not like. In such cases, the possessed individual could find themselves on the receiving end of unwanted misfortune, illness, or even insanity. It is interesting to note that voodooists often talk of the Iwa residing in and around the country of Guinea, as well as being present underwater in rivers, lakes and seas. Guinea is a country on the west coast of Africa, formerly a French colony from the 1890s to 1958, where many of their ancestral slaves originated. What is remarkable is that the name Guinea is very similar to the French word for genius, or the Haitian word geni, meaning the same. And as already mentioned in a previous video, genius is thought to come from some form of attachment to the spirit realm. With an almost endless variety of Iwa to choose from, one for each area and aspect of life. During a ceremony, the most senior spirit, Papa Legba, is saluted. He is the spirit thought to protect the home, pathways and crossroads. Following this are the sacred twins, or Marasa, representing justice, truth and love. Although they are twins, they also represent the number 3, along with mysteries associated with the veil between earth and heaven, as they personify astronomic and astrological learning. This description of the Marasa has similarities to the 3rd house of the zodiac, the twins of Gemini, which is ruled by the planet Mercury, the messenger, the planet of communication between all levels of consciousness. Agui or Aguitaweo is another Iwa, who could be compared to the sign of Aquarius. Aquario in French is the water bearer. This Iwa spirit is associated with aquatic life in general, being the protector over ships and fishermen while it rules the seas. Dambalo or Danbala is a serpent spirit, also associated with water. Together with his consort, Aida Wedo, they are believed to frequent rivers, springs and marshes, often depicted as 2 intertwining snakes. The devil is often depicted as a serpent in many religions. The devil in Spanish, French and Greek is demonio, diablo and diabolo, respectively. Could this be the origins of the name of the Iwa, Dambalo? This Iwa is believed to be the first thing created by Bondi as a go-between from the spiritual creator to this earthly realm. Dambalo is considered to be the Sky Father and the primordial creator of all physical life. This is very similar to the Gnostic concept of the demiurge, made by the spiritual creator God at the center of the pleroma, created as the craftsman or artisan over the material realm. Dambala is seen as benevolent and patient, wise and kind, yet detached and removed from the trials and tribulations of daily human life. His very presence brings peace, and he represents a continuum which is at once the ancient past and the assurance of the future. As a serpent, and due to his extreme age, he does not speak, but may whistle or make a soft hissing sound. Voodoo in general teaches the existence of a soul, which is divided into two parts. T-Bonaj, the little good angel, which represents the conscious mind of the individual, focused on the material realm. Guo Bonanje, or the big good angel. This represents the subconscious. It constitutes the psyche and source of our memory. Voodooists believe that the Guo Bonanji, the big good angel, can leave the head and go travelling while a person is asleep. They also believe that every individual has a predisposition which connects them to specific Iwa. They call this their master of the head, which contributes to their individual personality and is similar in some ways to the sun sign in astrology, expressing a person's overt personality type. Some priests are said to have the gift of eyes, which allow them to identify the most dominant Iwa within each person. During a ceremony, various drums, songs and dances will be presented, designed to encourage specific spirits to come forth. Once the spiritual possession takes place and Iwa identified, the possessed person is then dressed accordingly, after which they will mix and interact with the congregation. These possessions can last hours or even days, leaving the host physically and mentally exhausted, often with limited recollection of the actual event. A person who turns to the Iwa in order to inflict harm on others is known as a Bokko. They deal mainly with malevolent spirits because it is thought that the good spirits have rejected them due to their untrustworthy nature. These people can place curses on others, which often requires a priest to overturn the curse through the help of the good Iwa.